On the night of November 9th, 1989, a single sentence, spoken carelessly at a press conference, ended one of the most powerful symbols of the Cold War. The Berlin Wall, which had divided a city for 28 years, fell not because of an order, but because of a mistake. For decades, Berlin had been the front line of the Cold War. After World War II, Germany was split. Berlin, deep inside East Germany, was divided as well. West Berlin became a capitalist island. East Berlin remained under communist control by the German Democratic Republic, the GDR. By 1961, hundreds of thousands of East Germans had fled to the west. The communist government reacted with concrete and barbed wire. Overnight, the Berlin Wall was built. Families were separated, streets were cut in half, guards were ordered to shoot escapees. More than 140 people would die trying to cross it. By the late 1980s, the system behind the wall was cracking. Across Eastern Europe, communist governments were weakening. In the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev introduced reforms known as glasnost and perestroika. Crucially, he made it clear the Red Army would no longer intervene to prop up failing regimes. East Germany was in trouble. Its economy was stagnant. Travel restrictions angered citizens. Every week in 1989, protests grew, especially in Leipzig, where tens of thousands demanded freedom of movement and political reform. On October 18, 1989, East Germany's hardline leader, Erich Honecker, resigned. His replacement, Egon Krenz, promised change, but delivered little. The pressure did not stop. East Germans were escaping anyway, using newly opened borders in Hungary and Czechoslovakia. The government needed a solution, fast. That solution came in the form of new travel regulations. On the afternoon of the 9th of November 1989, the East German Politburo approved a draft policy allowing citizens to apply for private travel abroad. The intent was controlled, bureaucratic, and delayed. Then came the press conference. At 6:53 p.m., East German spokesman Günter Schabowski stepped in front of international journalists. He had been handed the new policy minutes earlier. He had not been fully briefed. A reporter asked a simple question: "When does the new travel regulation take effect?" Schabowski hesitated. He shuffled papers. Then he said the words that changed history. "As far as I know, it takes effect immediately, without delay." The room went silent. Journalists rushed to file reports. Television and radio broadcasts spread the news across East Berlin within minutes. People heard they were free to cross the border, now. Thousands headed for the wall. At border crossings like Bornholmer Strasse, guards were confused. They had received no orders. Their instructions still said the wall was closed. Crowds grew. People shouted. Some demanded passage. Others simply waited. The guards called their superiors. No one wanted to give the order. No one wanted responsibility. Shortly before 11:30 p.m., the commander at Bornholmer Strasse made a decision. Facing an uncontrollable crowd and fearing violence, he ordered the gates opened. No shots were fired. People crossed, some cautiously, some running, some crying. West Berliners welcomed them with cheers, beer, and embraces. Within hours, crossings across the city were opened. Guards stopped checking passports. The wall, in practice, no longer existed. And then something even more unexpected happened. People climbed on top of the wall. They danced. They hugged strangers. They brought hammers and chisels. They began tearing it down themselves. By the next morning, images of celebration were broadcast worldwide. The symbol of division had collapsed without a single battle. The East German government had not planned this. The Soviet Union had not ordered it. No treaty had been signed. The wall fell because a system lost control of its own story. In the weeks that followed, events moved quickly. Travel restrictions vanished. Free elections were announced. On the 3rd of October 1990, Germany was officially reunified. The Cold War itself would end soon after. The irony is impossible to miss. The Berlin Wall was built to stop people from leaving. It fell because leaders could no longer stop people from listening. A regime armed with watchtowers, concrete and guns was undone by confusion, pressure, and one unscripted answer. That night proved something history often hides. Power does not always collapse with explosions. Sometimes it collapses with a sentence spoken at the wrong time. And when it did, the world watched a wall fall. Not because it was pushed, but because it was no longer believed in.